What we're doing here today is we're placing the struts on a 2005 Chevy Trailblazer. It's very similar to the Envoy, and we're using the Monroe quick struts. First thing you're going to want to do is lock the rear wheels on the opposite side, take the center cap off, and if you don't have the assistance air tools, you'll need to break loose the tightness of the lug nuts and then jack the vehicle up, and we'll put it on jack stands. Okay, on the very top of the strut there are two nuts, and you need an 18 millimeter. We'll go ahead, you can do it right from the wheel well here, and we'll go ahead and loosen those up and then let them run all the way up to the end of the threads there, but we'll still leave them in there. Okay, I got those two loose up there. Now we're going to take and separate this top ball joint here to take some pressure off of the spring there. So this is a 15 millimeter. Okay, on the upper ball joint there, we'll knock that bolt out of there. Then we'll take a cold chisel and lightly pound it in there to separate that from the knuckle, and then we'll pound that up. If this is hard to get off, you may need to use a pickle fork and take a large hammer and pound it in there. Many a times that wrecks the boot on your upper ball joint, so if you're not going to replace the upper ball joint, you would want to use one of these tools. Put it in there, just pound this in here, it'll push the boot down, and you keep tightening this up and it'll push that center down until you can get this off of here. Now that this is free here, we'll go ahead and go down here, and we're going to remove this bolt here. Okay, that's a 24 millimeter. We'll take and remove that bolt there. Okay, so this right here, this arm that's attached to the bottom of the strut is on a taper. So what we'll do is we'll take a hammer and hit it a very sharp blow to the bottom here to get it to pop off of that taper. Okay, now that that's off down there, we'll go ahead, remove our two nuts off the top of the strut. And we can slide this whole thing out of there. Okay, I tried to pull this off of here, and it's hitting the stabilizer link. So I'm going to undo the top of the stabilizer link and pull that out. We'll have to slide this back on there. I'll pull this off, and then this whole arm and strut assembly will come out. Okay, you may have to jack the steering knuckle up a little bit to get this stabilizer out of there. And then once that's out of there, then take and lower that back down. And we'll take the tension off of here. Slide your whole strut assembly out with this arm on there. Okay, put a 18 millimeter on here, and on the opposite side here, we'll take and remove that nut. Okay, and then we'll knock that bolt out of there. Okay, what we'll do is we'll put our cold punch or cold chisel in there. That'll separate this iron here. We don't want to go too far, just to get a little bit of separation up on top here. Then we'll take a punch here, put a brass drift punch on here, and then we'll pound this entire strut assembly out of there. Okay, if you're in the rust belt, you want to take some sandpaper there and clean the rust that's out of there. We'll leave our chisel in there until we put our new strut in there, and then we'll remove that chisel. So you want to look where your bolts are, and then line your thing up here, your bottom arm on the strut. And we'll go ahead and take a hammer, tap it down until it's flush. And then we'll take our cold chisel out of there. So now we'll take our bolt and we'll tap that through there, and we'll put our nut on there but not tighten it. Okay, now that we have that bolt in there, it's still loose, we'll go ahead, slide our strut on the top, and we'll take and just start our two bolts, or two nuts on the very top there. And now we'll slip our tapered arm on the bottom there. You may have to pick up on the steering knuckle to get it to slide on there, and then pound it on the rest of the way with a soft hammer. Okay, we got slid on our tapered fitting there. Go ahead and put this bolt on here, or this nut, and we'll go and torque that to 52 foot-pounds. Okay, now that we have that 24 millimeter torque to the bottom of the arm there, we'll go ahead and tighten these two top nuts up on the very top of the strut. Okay, we got the two up on top tightened. Now we'll go ahead and tighten up this last bolt on the bottom here. Okay, next what we'll do is, because we took our stabilizer link off, we'll go ahead and put that back together. Okay, you may have to jack up the steering knuckle to get the, we'll edit that out. May have to jack it up a little bit on the steering knuckle to get the stabilizer link to line up. And we'll tighten that up. And then what we'll do is put our ball joint back in there and put the bolt in there and tighten that up. Okay, next we'll go and put our upper ball joint on there. Then we'll put our bolt through there. It has to go down through this groove. And we'll go ahead and tighten these up here. Last thing we have to do is put the tire on. We'll run the lugs down with the impact, and once we take it off the jack and jack stands, then we will finally torque it and put the center cap on.